Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're brand new. My name is Danielle and today I thought I would film all of the books I read in April. I have been filming this for a few months now and I really enjoy going over all of the books that I read each month. So I thought we would do another one for April. I know this one is a little bit late, but better late than never. I read a total of 5 books in April and I had one particular book that I really loved, and it was a pre-order that I had been anticipating, so I'm super excited to hit that one. But let's go ahead and get started. The first book that I read in April was actually Pucking Sweet, which is the third book in the Jacksonville Rays series. Also, I want a side note, I do have my laptop here. My Goodreads is open because I just need a recap because it's been like a month or more since I read some of these, so I just need a quick recap, especially with my rating and everything. So if I look down, it's just because my laptop is here. So I rated this book 4 stars and I really liked this book. I have had kind of a love-hate relationship with this whole entire Jacksonville Rays series. If y'all watched all the books I read in March, I think that's when I read the first 2, and the first book was not my favorite. The second book I really enjoyed, and then the third book, I really enjoyed this one. I would say not as much as the second one, but I really did like it still. This one was about the director of public relations of the team finds themselves interested in 2 of the guys on the team. So kind of similar to the first book where it is one girl and a couple different guys. So the first book was 3 different guys. This book is only 2 different guys, and I liked the dynamic of this one better than that first book. This one also felt like it had more plot versus not just straight up smut and that's it, which is very heavily what I got from the first book. So overall, I really did like this book. I would say it's my second favorite in the series. The first favorite being the second one, and then my last being obviously the first in the series. If you watched that video, you know my thoughts on that book. It was definitely not my favorite, but I really enjoyed this, and I do think it's a very good series just in a whole to read if you are used to kind of the why choose romances. If you're used to those and you like them, this is definitely a good series. If you're kind of new to those, I definitely go into it with an open mind. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I would recommend the whole series, but I would say the second and the third are definitely better than the first. The next book that I read was the start of kind of a long series. I'm not really a huge long series person. I prefer shorter series and standalones, but I've been trying to kind of branch out into longer series. And so I started the Blue Moon series by Lucy Score, and I managed to get through 3 of these books in April. And I want to say that April, I definitely did not read as many books as I usually do because my husband broke his ankle at the end of March, which if you follow my vlogs, you would already know this. And I definitely just didn't have as much time to read as I usually do. But nonetheless, I still decided to take on this long series. I actually pulled it out of my jar right here, which I haven't ever talked to you guys about my jar. I have all the books that I want to read. I'm behind on it right now, but I have all the books that I want to read in there, and when I don't know what I want to read, I'll pull a paper out, and this is actually what I pulled, and I was actually really happy with it. I enjoyed the series. So the very first book that I read in the series was obviously the first book. It's called No More Secrets. And every book is just a small town romance, which I really like the small town romance. I don't know why, it just gives me such a homey feel when I read them. And so this book follows one of the Pierce brothers named Carter and Summer, who comes in as a journalist to their farm. It's basically the Pierce's family farm. She comes in to do a whole story on the farm, and she ends up falling for Carter. Carter falls for her, and it's a little bit of a slow burn in the beginning. And it's just the build up to it was really great, and it just was interesting. It wasn't ever super boring, and I felt like it just was a good, cute romance story, and so I really enjoyed this one. I did rate this one at 5 stars. I don't know if this is my favorite in the series. I have a hard time like picking just one in this series, but this one is definitely in the top for the series. The second book in the Blue Moon series is called Fall into Temptation. And this book is about a single mom, and this follows another Pierce brother named Beckett, and then Gianna, who is a single mom. And this is a not just single mom trope, but also like a forced proximity. So they're kind of thrown together over and over and over and over again, and they have like an instant connection to each other, and they're trying to like obviously resist each other. And we have Gianna, who owns a yoga studio, who ends up living in Beckett's back house. So they're like living right next to each other, and they are just like thrown together again and again with everyone in the town. It being a small town, everyone knows each other, and it just, them being thrown together over and over and over again really built it up. And then when it finally just like they got together finally, it was like, wow, I've been waiting for that. But one of the things that I couldn't really get past in this book, which is why I rated it 4 stars, was that basically the Pierce's mom gets with Gianna's dad. And I don't really think that's a spoiler. It's not that huge. But I couldn't get past the fact that like they were technically at that point supposed to be like brother or sister. But then they're together, and like in my head I know they're not related, and like they don't know anything about each other. They're all adults. But like in my head I'm just like, I don't know. It's a little bit weird. So that's the reason why I rated it 4 stars. But overall I really liked this one. And I will say there was like a bit of a comedy slash quirkiness to this whole series, I would say, and it being a small town, and I actually really liked that about it. And then the third book in the series is called The Last Second Chance, and this one specifically I actually technically finished on like May 2nd, but I started it like April 27th, so I thought it was fitting to put it in here. This one I rated 4 stars, but this one is about the Pierce brother named Jackson, and he was in a relationship with the girl named Joey back when they were in high school. He ended up getting to a car accident with her in the car, and he basically ran away and like fled off to California right after that. And so Joey is obviously resentful of him, and so this is basically Jackson wants a second chance with Joey. Joey does not want that second chance. They're kind of, I mean, it is technically enemies to lovers, but I would just say they're not enemies. I would just say Joey is really just like not interested in doing any second chances, but Jackson is really interested in getting himself a second chance. And so basically this book is about getting them back together, and like the whole town is in on getting them back together. And like one of the things I like about these books is there is something called a beautification committee in each book, and it kind of spans through all the books, and they are like set on getting people together and like in love. And so in each book they play a role in getting each couple together, and so it's just like a very unique stories for each of them, and like just it adds something extra in them. And I would say that each book is just a very simple romance read, and all of them have a very good balance between like romance, plot, and then a little bit of smut added as well, because who doesn't want a book with smut in it? I mean, come on, that's literally like, what am I reading it for? What am I reading it for? But I really did like this one. I rated it 4 stars because I just didn't love it quite as much as the first one in the series, but I still did enjoy it. And I do think that just this series in a whole is very well written, and they're just very cute, simple, easy to read romances. And then the very last book I want to go over for April is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Now, I didn't read this one last. I read this one kind of in between reading the Blue Moon series because it got delivered, because I pre-ordered it a long time ago, and so it got delivered like right as soon as it was released, and I wasted no time at all getting this read. I absolutely love this series, and this is one of the first ever like romantasy series that I read. This actually might be the first. It was either so the first ever like romantasy book I read was this one. This one got me hooked. And then I either read this series or Fourth Wing next, and then I was even more hooked. I can't remember which one, but like all of those books basically together got me hooked on romantasy. Now, I'm not huge on just fantasy. I need like a romance aspect personally, or else I just don't feel like I'm hooked. That's just personal preference, but this series I absolutely love. When I tell you I was bawling my eyeballs out during this book, I'm sitting here, my husband comes in the room, I'm reading, I'm like at the end, okay? Because you know, all the romantasy books, like the last 100 pages is where everything goes down. I'm on the last whatever pages, it's late. He just got done putting Ezekiah to bed. I'm sitting here in the bed, book in my hands, tears are just like falling down my face, and I'm like, I can't believe what I'm reading. Like, I can't put into words how just shocking I like. And like in the back of my head, I was like, this is about to happen. I freaking know it's about to happen. And then it did, and I was like, you're lying. You're lying. This just honestly made me feel all the emotions, every emotion ever. And honestly, I don't know if it's my favorite in the series. I would say either the first or the third is my favorite. The second one, not my favorite. I did enjoy it, but I would definitely say first or last. So I want to go back to Powerless to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis of this book, because I don't want to give away any spoilers for anything that happens after the first book. But essentially this whole series is about, they have an elite society where everyone has like these powers, and then we have our main female character who is named Peyton, and she is in the slums and she has no powers, but she has been taught to pretend that she does have powers and that she is a psychic. She has learned the art of thievery and learned how to be a psychic in the slums. And when one of the princes comes to the slums, she ends up saving him and is thrown into these purging trials, which essentially is where you like fight to the death. Basically, it's kind of like Hunger Games, but not. The issue with her being thrown into the purging trials is that typically it's only for the elites and for the people with powers. And Peyton has a fake power, which is being a psychic. She's been taught by her father her whole life to be very observant and become a fake psychic. So she basically is thrown into these trials as a psychic and has to go through all these things and basically pretend that she is a psychic. And she ends up going through the purging trials and gets really close with the prince that she had saved at the beginning of the book. And they form a really good relationship and a friendship, and then it turns into a romantic relationship. And at the very end of the book, crazy stuff goes down. I can't go into any of it, which means I can't go into anything in this book because I don't want to spoil anything. But I would highly, highly recommend this entire series for anyone that is maybe getting into romantasy. It's a very good starter romantasy series. It's very, I would say it's pretty easy to follow. I just feel like some fantasy series and romantasy series are not very easy to follow. And I think once you read them more, you get a little more, like, you get better at following them. But I would say this is a very good starter series. This is also more of a like a young adult, so it doesn't really have anything smut heavy. It has a little tiny bit of romance, but nothing crazy. And I would even say that this one had the most romance, I want to say. But like overall, I would say it's a very good series to read. I really enjoyed it. And I would highly, highly recommend, and I did rate this 5 stars. I've rated all 3 books 5 stars, and I really love it, so I would highly recommend. But those are all of the books I read in April. I literally was so stoked for Fearless to come out. I literally, that was literally my read of the month because I had been waiting for it. And as I'm talking to you guys right now, it's May 20th, and I am literally thinking about so many books that are about to come out. I'm literally so excited. So hopefully as we keep on doing these videos, I can keep on sharing you guys everything that I'm reading. Let me know if you've read any of these books I talked about. Let me know what your top read of April was. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys again in my next video.